प्रभु का प्रभु का प्रभु का।
यो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद महाराज की
जय
जो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की
जय
आनंद गौड़ी वैष्णव वृंद की
जय
हम आचार्य दास ठाकुर की
जय।
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
जय
Thy Go Premanandi,
हरि
all
बोल।
good assembled devotees, all good assembled
हरि
devotees,
बोल।
all
हरे
good assembled
कृष्णा
devotees,
हरे
all
कृष्णा
good
हरे
Gauram.
कृष्णा। जय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim
देवी
Saraswati
सरस्वती
Vyasam Tado
ततो
Jayamudire
जयेत्।
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtagi Krishnaya Vasudevaya देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंकं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनदारिणं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवम् Hare Krishna, welcome back to Bhagavad Gita English class. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 17, the divisions of faith. And today's verses 1, 2, and 3. 1 to 3. Verse number 1. Arjuna Uvacha Ye Shastra Vidhim Sujya Yajande Shraddhayanvitaha Tesham Nishta Tuka Krishna Sattwamaho Rajastamaha. Arjuna Uvacha Ye Shastra Vidhim Sujya Yajande Shraddhayanvitaha Tesham Nishta Tuka Krishna Sattwamaho Rajastamaha. Arjuna Uvacha Ye Shastra Vidhimulsujya Yajande Shraddhayanvitaha Tesham Nishtatu Ka Krishna Sattwamaho Rajastamaha. Yes, Katyanima
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अर्जुन उवाच ये शास्त्रविधिमुत्सृज्य यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विता तेषां निष्ठा का कृष्णा सत्त्वमोहतमः। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna said, Yea, those Shastra Vidhim, the regulations of scripture, Ulsrijya, giving up, Yajande, worships, Shraddhaya, full faith, Anvidaha, possessed of, Tesham, of them, Nishta, faith, to, but, Ka, what is that? Krishna, O Krishna, Sattvam, in goodness, Aho, said, Raja, in passion, Tama, in ignorance. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the situation of one who does not follow the principles of scripture but worships according to his own imagination? Is in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Verse 2. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Prividha Bhavadi Shraddha Dehinam Sa Subhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva तामसी चेति तां शृणु. श्रीभगवानुवाच त्रिविधा भवति श्रद्धा देहिनां सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चेति तां शृणु. श्रीभगवानुवाच त्रिविधा भवति श्रद्धा देहिनां सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चेति तां शृणु. Yes.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. श्रीभगवान् उवाच त्रिविधा भवति श्रद्धा देहिनां सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चेति तां शृणु. हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी.
Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Trividha, three kinds, Bhavati, become, Shraddha, faith, Dehinam, of the embodied, Sa, that, Swabhavaja, according to his mode of material nature, Sattvigi, mode of goodness, Rajasi, mode of passion, Cha, also, Eva, certainly, Tamasi, mode of ignorance, Cha, and Idi, thus, Tam, that, Shunu, hear from me. The Supreme Lord said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: goodness, passion, or ignorance. Now hear about this. Verse number 3. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddhamayoyam purusho yayat shraddha sa eva sa. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddhamayoyam purusho yayat shraddha sa eva sa. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddhamayoyam purusho eyat shraddha sa eva sa. Yes,
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. तत्त्वानुरूपा सर्वस्य श्रद्धा भवति भारत श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषो यो यच्छ्रद्धः स एव सा. हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी.
Sattva Anurupa, according to the existence, Sarvasya, of everyone, Shraddha, faith, Bhavati, becomes, Bharata, or son of Bharata, son of Bharata. Shraddha, faith, Maya, full, I am this, Purusha, living entity, Ya, anyone, Yat, that, Shraddha, faith, Sa, that, Eva, certainly, Sa, he. According to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be a particular faith according to modes he has acquired. Like Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmiridam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthavidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagada Mahyam Dadadi Swapadandigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudavadagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sam Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunathanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadhutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidan Shri Vishaganvidam Sam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagalpade Gopesha Gopiga Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Taptaga Anjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadirubhescha Kriva Sindhubhyevacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Dinamini. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadharini. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Radhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Arjuna Uvaja, Ye Shastra Vidimulsujya Yajande Shraddhayanvidaha Tesham Nishtatuka Krishna Satvamaho Rajastamaha. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the situation of one who does not follow the principles of scriptures, but worships according to his own imagination? Is he in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Hare Krishna. So, this is a very new, it's a new chapter, chapter 17, the divisions of faith. So, faith is very, very important. Without faith, we cannot have any direction in our spiritual life. Shraddha, which just means faith, is of utmost importance. Krishna gives so much importance to Shraddha if you go to 4th chapter, Krishna says, 40, Shraddhavan labado jnanam tatpara samyadendriya jnan labdva param shamdin achirenadi gacchati. Says, a faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. That is chapter 4, verse 39. Shraddhava labde jnanam. Only through faith, one who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge with immense faith. And the transcendental knowledge is Krishna only. Knowledge. Yes, that is the verse. Chena Adhigachari. So he quickly attains a supreme spiritual peace. So in the 16th chapter, Krishna has elaborately described the transcendental qualities of persons who follow the signs of scriptures, who is in the mode of sattva guna, who is known as a persons endowed with divine nature. That divine nature, 26 qualities are given in the first three verses of the 16th chapter. And then Krishna has also described
16th chapter 14.
16th chapter 1, 2, 3, first 3 verses, Krishna describes 26 divine qualities. And then onwards, from 7th verse onwards, he described the demoniac nature elaborately. So this is to inspire us to acquire divine qualities and shun the demoniac nature. We have a mix of both because we are in mixed modes. Everyone is mixed modes of mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of knowledge. We are a mixture, and through our numberless, unlimited births, we have acquired so many impressions based on these gunas. And so we have both these qualities, divine qualities as well as demonic qualities. And this is to inspire us to improve or increase or concentrate on the divine knowledge, on the divine nature aspects, and discard the demonic nature. And this is possible, Krishna concludes, this is possible. He gives, of course, various the destination of a person of the demonic nature also. And then he says, this is possible only if you meticulously follow the scriptures. Yashasravidim ulsujya vartate kamakardaha. A negative way of speaking. Negative is the negative impact of not following the scriptures is given in verse 23 of 16th chapter when Krishna says, Yashasravi ulsujya vartate kamakardaha. Na sa siddhim avapnodi, na sugham, na param gadim. So you have to always stick to injunctions of the Shastras. What is given in Shastras, what is given in Vedas, you have to meticulously follow. Like Shastra, it mentions that in married life, in Grihastha life aspects, sex can be used only for reproduction of Krishna conscious people, that too only once a month. And when Srila Prabhupada was preaching in America, United States, those youngsters, these wayward people who were very wayward in the beginning, but had immense faith on Srila Prabhupada. So here it's also a question of faith here, faith on Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada was describing the Vedic injunctions regarding this married life, and his disciples, they were, they were used to having a very liberal sex, and when they heard that the Vedic injunction, they said that Srila Prabhupada, then we may not have it once at all, because it is very difficult for us to abstain from sex life. And then Srila Prabhupada says, I cannot change Vedic injunctions just to please you people. I cannot change the Vedic injunctions. Scriptures are always there. What is given in scriptures, we have to meticulously follow. You cannot change, or you cannot modify, or you can only accept some aspects, accept some aspects of Shastra and overlook or reject others. And that is not allowed, or that is not conducive if you want to progress spiritually. You cannot modify Shastras, or you cannot add something onto your own, or you cannot discard something that is given in Vedas. It has to take it as it is. So he says that there is a tasmat Shastra Vidhanoktam Karya Karya. Sorry, tasmat. In 24th verse, Krishna says, Tasma Shastram Pramanante Karya Karya Vivasthido. Shastra is only pramana, or we can say evidence or proof of whatever you are doing. I mean, every single action of ours should be based on scripture, Vedic scriptures only. If you are acting on your own whims or impulses, then that is called kama karada. You have the bodily impulses and the mental whims of mind, impulses that is sprouting from our body, and then whims of the mind. And if you are acting upon it, that is called kama karada. So that will lead to our demonic nature. While if you are strictly adhering to the scriptures, then that will enhance your divine nature. So Arjuna perfectly understood that there should be faith, in Shastras. And then he asked a very pertinent question in the beginning of this chapter. Now this chapter has got 28 verses. 28 verses in this 17th chapter. The breakup is given as below. The first 7 verses mentions the modes determine one's faith and one's worship. Modes determine one's faith and one's worship. That is the first 7 verses of this chapter. And then from 8, 9, and 10, then you have different activities under modes. First is food. The modes in food, the foods in the modes is given in 8, 9, and 10. Sacrifices in modes 11 to 13. And austerity is from 14 to 19, 6 verses. And then charity, 20 to 23 verses. So like that, these ahara, yajna,
11 to 13
and dana.
11 to 13 is
11 to 13 is sacrifice, yajna. Yajna also, there is yajna in sattvic mode, yajna in rajasic mode, and yajna in tamasic. That will be detailed. That is explained in these verses. Then 14 to 9.
chapter.
So this chapter is the 17th chapter. Now I am explaining, I am giving the breakdown of this. We are now in the 17th chapter. 17th chapter has got 28 verses. 28 verses. We are giving the breakdown of these 28 verses, divisions of these 28 verses. The first 7 verses. Yeah.
Satkaramana pujartam tapotamvena kaivalya. Kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam salamadruvam.
Yes. Yeah, that is now we have to listen properly. There are 28 verses. The breakdown of 28 verses is given as follows. The first 7 verses are that Krishna explains the modes determine one's faith and one's worship. It is the modes that determines one's faith and one's worship. And how they are acting, how these modes are acting in various activities like ahara, food, like yajna, sacrifice, austerity, taba, and charity, dana. That is given in verses 8 to 10 for foods, 11 to 13 for yajna, 14 to 19 for austerity or taba, and 20 to 22 in charity modes. And the last 6 verses, from 23 to 28, 6 verses, is a conclusion called Om Tat Sat Vam, which means from the Sattvic mode, you have to elevate yourself to the Shuddha Sattva, that is worshipping the Supreme. Now, this chapter is all about faith and worship, and worship, ultimate worship is worship of the Supreme. Thus, that is explained in the last 6 verses of this chapter. So, the beginning of this chapter, Arjuna is asking, so Krishna, I understand that faith based on scriptures is the best, but I have seen persons who are having faith, but not based on scriptures. There are persons who are having faith. They disregard injunctions of Veda, but they have some sort of faith. Some sort of faith is there. And what is that faith? And with that faith, they engage in some austerities, which means kamakarada does not exclusively mean that you should indulge in sense gratification, but you may abstain from sense gratification based on the faith that you have developed, which is not based on Shastras. There are a lot of persons, majority of the people, faith is not based on Shastra at all. Only 1 among 1,000 is basing their faith on Shastras. Krishna says, Manishyanam sahasreshu kaschit jadasiddhe. Only 1 out of 1,000 are really interested or really engage themselves in the study of Shastras. Others have got so many pramanas. There are 9 other pramanas apart from Shastra. 9 pramanas are there. One day we'll deal in that pramanas. So, Like, for example, Aidiya is a family tradition. Family tradition. So family tradition is there. In the family tradition, you have some faith that is being followed over so many years, over so many generations. So many generations, so many that you are following. So Arjuna wants to know whether this kind of faith, which is not based on scriptures, how it can be classified, whether it is coming under Satoguna, Rajoguna, or Tamoguna. So Krishna is answering that question. The rest of the chapter is Krishna's reply to that question. In the second verse, Krishna says, Trivida bhavati shraddha dehinam sa swabhavaja satviki rajasi chaiva tamasi chedi tam shunu. The Supreme Lord said, according to the modes of nature, acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: goodness, passion, ignorance. So, Dehina, please mention as Dehina. Dehina means embodied soul. Now, embodied soul is always under the modes. Swabhava. Swabhava means imprints he has acquired over so many births. The pure soul is not actually under any modes. It is not affected Prakriti or Swabhava. But in connection with the Prakriti, over so many millions of birth, it has developed a nature or imprints under which his faith is determined. And this is classified into three modes of nature: Sattvika, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So, those who are not acquainted with the Shastras, it doesn't mean that they are bereft of faith. Yeah, they have also faith. Maybe based on their logical ability or intellectual power or theories they have decided to believe. So, one faith is based on sense of perception, or we can say direct pratiksha pramana. If somebody says, I don't believe in God because I have not seen God, so he doesn't have faith in God, but he has faith in his senses. He says, I don't believe in God because I have not seen God. If I have seen God in my eyes, then I have faith. That means I have faith in my eyes only. So if they say that if they cannot see anything, it doesn't exist. This is also a kind of faith. Somebody will say that I don't accept the ancient theories, that is the scriptures, but accept the modern theories, which is all the modern science, and a science which we will say. This is also kind of faith. But we have seen that all these kind of last 100, 300 years, the science have developed. So many theories have been amended and so many theories have been overthrown also. What theories which we believe to be true in the present day may prove to be false in the coming years also. That is also possible. But accepting this is also a matter of faith. So there is a very renowned scientist called Charles M. Towne. Charles H. Townes. He is a Nobel Prize winner in physics in the year 1964. He had lived a very long years from 1915 to 2015, almost 100 years he has lived up. But he was also very religious. So he puts it very nicely. He says that science itself requires faith. He says that science itself requires faith. We don't know if our logic is correct. I don't know if you are there and you don't know if I'm here. We don't know whether our logic is correct, but we believe that it is correct. So it needs faith. I have an idea of the world. I have faith in what I believe and have an idea of the world in which you are there, I am here. But I cannot prove it from any fundamental point of view. That is not possible. But yet I accept certain framework in which to operate. So he says that the idea religion is faith and science is knowledge is quite wrong. He says that some people say religion is only faith and science is knowledge. Science means this modern science is knowledge. This is wrong. Because science is also based on faith. Shraddha. He says that we believe in the external world. Means he believes the evolution theory, he believes in Big Bang theory and all those things. And he is very comfortable about it. Nevertheless, they are also acts of faith. We cannot prove them. Nobody has proved the Big Bang theory. Nobody has proved the Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. But still, they prove they're comfortable because of the faith in that. So even they have the faith. But here, Krishna says very clearly that faith is based on three kinds of nature. Now, the modern science, like even Charles Towers, only understand faith in one aspect of it. He just generalizes it. But Krishna says this faith is based on three modes: Sattviya, Rajasic, and Tamasic. But ultimately, we have to go beyond these modes to acquire the real knowledge, which is situated when you are situated in the mode of pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. And that can be said, that can be had only when you have immense faith in the scriptures and if you are in the direction of you are under guidance of a spiritual master. Only that is possible. So, Srila Prabhupada says that one has to consider things carefully with intelligence. Yes, intelligence is very much required. Intelligence is required very much. Once Srila Prabhupada said that you have to surrender with intelligence, not your intelligence. You cannot surrender your intelligence. Intelligence is always required. Buddhi, because the scriptures are always directed at the intelligence only. So you have to intact, you keep the intelligence intact always and purify that intelligence with the injunctions from scriptures. So that is real intelligence. We have to understand that, we have to accept that our present intelligence is now cloudy because of conditions, so many lives we have undergone, because of imprints that is imprinted in the heart. So Krishna elaborates on that when he says the next verse, Sattvanurubaha, the Sattvanuruba sarvasya Shraddha bhavati bharata. Sattvanuruba sarvasya Shraddha bhavati bharata. What is a Sattvanuruba? But because of mental frame, the mental frame of one person which is based on your antakarana. Intelligence, false ego, and mind. And in the mind also you have this chitta, which is called antakarana. And this in the chitta only we have this imprints, vasanas. So these things put together shapes one's attitude, mental attitude. And this attitude gives rise to faith. Where we decide to place our faith and what we choose to believe is practically will guide our life, but that is based on what we have imprints in our mind, which we have stored in our minds. So these give rise to convictions. Like, for example, when people say that you have to acquire money, if you want to live comfortably, you have to acquire money. So that person will struggle and strenuously makes effort to acquire as much money as possible. Or suppose he is say that fame counts, nama and name and fame is more important. They'll dedicate their time and energy for chasing political posts or social designations, or trying to be an actor, or trying to be a sportsman, because his antakarana is directing him. Like, for example, Mahatma Gandhi has faith in Satya and Ahimsa, and he became very strong, quite strong in that, in the sense that he was able to drive out the Englishmen from India. Such was his faith in Satya and Ahimsa. So, this Sattwani Rupa Sarvasya Shraddho Bhavati Bharata. What is that? What is the thing that is in your chitta that gives rise to the Shraddha? And whatever the nature of faith, that is verily they are. What is my nature? What is my faith? Accordingly, I become. Or if I have faith in some devas, I worship the devas and acquire the traits or qualities of the devas. So if I have immense faith in Krishna, I worship Krishna only. So this is possible only when we understand that we are part and parcel of Krishna, which is given in the 15th chapter. Now, when you forget that you are part and parcel of Krishna, then you come into contact with material nature. In the conditioned life, he generates his own position by association with different varieties of material nature. That is what we have seen. Krishna bhuli, Krishna bhaivoge, maya nipata. When you become opposed to Krishna, when you forget Krishna, immediately the maya will capture you. Then according to the aspects, which are aspects of gunas, then you acquire so much positions. You may be a Gandharva, you may be a Deva, or here in the world, you may be a great musician, or maybe a great philosopher, or you may be in mode of passion, or you may not even have human body. It's like that. So many different positions, they call positions in the material world. What we have seen in the 15th chapter, the branches of the tree. Branches of the tree is actually the position of that particular yoni that one person is acquiring. Therefore, one has to become cleansed of the material contamination that is secured in order to regain his relationship with Supreme Lord. So we have to shed whatever contact we had with the material world. And that is possible only in Krishna consciousness. So again, we have to understand that here faith is paramount, and this faith has different divisions. And these divisions are based on the modes, and the modes determine what is your faith, and according to the faith, what is your worship, and what is your nature of food, what you eat, then what is the sacrifices you want to undertake, what is the nature of the austerities or tabas that you are doing, and what is the nature of the charity which you are giving. Everything is depending on the modes. Modes determine everything. So in next verse onwards, that will be explained more clearly. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So Katyani Malji, you can render Narasim Kirtan. You are you're mute now. But unmute and do the Kirtan. Vancha kalpadrubhasya kripa sindhubhyevacha paidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananda